Hello everyone, welcome. This is a nuclear chapter part 4. In this video, I am going to explain Einstein's mass energy relation, illustrations of Einstein's mass energy relation, binding energy, specific binding energy, and specific binding energy curve. Right? So, first one, Einstein's mass energy relation. The Einstein, according to the theory of Einstein's relative theory, right, theory of relativity, uh, mass and energy are interconvertible. Nothing but a certain amount of mass can be converted into energy. Similarly, certain amount of energy can also be converted into mass. That is, mass and energy are interconvertible according to the theory of relativity given by Einstein, right? And he gave that the relation between conversion of mass into energy and energy into mass is given by the relation that is E is equals to mc square, where E is the energy and where m is the mass and c is the speed of light in vacuum. To understand this Einstein's mass energy relation, let us explain or understand the illustration for Einstein's mass energy relation. There are two illustrations are there. One is annihilation of matter and second one is pair production. Annihilation of matter is nothing but conversion of mass into energy, and pair production is nothing but the conversion of energy into mass. So one of the example we'll see there, that is annihilation of matter. What is annihilation of matter? When an electron and a positron combines, right, during this combination it releases the energy. It is converted into energy. Here the masses of electron and masses of positron will be get converted into energy in accordance with the formula E is equals to mc square, and the energy released is in the form of gamma rays, that is nothing but a photons. Understand? So here the mass of electron and positron combines together and they releases the energy. That energy is in the form of gamma rays. The gamma rays consist of photons, and that energy is given by the equation, or the emitted energy is in accordance with the equation E is equals to mc square. This is annihilation. Here annihilation means destroying themselves. Whenever electron and this positron combines, they destroy themselves and they produces the energy, and that energy is given by the equation E equal to mc square. This is called annihilation of matter. Next, pair production, right? To understand this pair production, I will consider a photon which is gamma rays, which is having a very high energy, say about 1.02 million electron volt energy, which is very fast moving photon is there now, and it is allowed to pass nearer to the nucleus. During this time, when it is passing near to the nucleus, this photon splits into two matter, that is, one is electron and one is positron, right? Therefore, we can write the equation, the photon or gamma rays gives one electron and one positron, which is converted, that this energy is converted into matter. This is called pair production. Yes. Next concept is, show that energy of equivalent of one atomic mass unit is equals to 931.5 million electron volt. We have to show that energy equivalent of one atomic mass unit is equals to 931.5 million electron volt or mega electron volt. To show that, from the Einstein's mass energy relation, we have equation, that is E is equals to mc square. This one we know that, we call as this equation number 1. Now here one atomic mass unit, we know that. What is one atomic mass unit, right? That is given by 1.660539 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg, right? And here, what is the c? C is the speed of light. Its value is 2.99797 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Now substitute these two values in equation number 1, that is Here E is equal to energy, M is mass. Mass is nothing but 1.660539 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg into C square. C square means this one, right? That is 2.99 into 10 to the power of 2.99797 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square, this one, right? So after that, multiplication of these two, if we do, we'll get 14.92 into 10 to the power of minus 11 joules, because energy is expressed in joules. But here we want in electron volt, right? We have a formula that conversion of joules into electron volt, then we have to divide 1 by 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb, right? So such that, so this is energy, which is equal to 14.92 into 10 to the power of minus 11 as it is, divided by, if you want to convert electron volt, divided by 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 electron volt. And after solving this one completely, we get 931.5 into 10 to the power of 6 electron volt, and this can be written as 931.5 mega electron volt or million electron volt. Therefore energy of equivalent mass of one atomic unit is equal to 931.5 million electron volt. This we have proved here. Yes, we will move towards the next concept, that is mass defect, right? Name itself suggests that there is a defect in the mass. Whose mass? The nucleus mass. There is a defect in the mass of the nucleus of an atom. Why that defect arises and how you come to know that there is a defect in the mass of an atom or a nucleus, right? So to understand this, we need some important concept here, that is we need to know the mass of proton, that is 1.00728 unit, mass of neutron, that is 1.00866 unit, rest mass of the helium atom is 4.00153 unit, which is measured using mass spectrograph method or mass spectroscope. Using mass spectroscope, we have measured the mass of a helium atom is about how much? Is 4.001534 unit. Right? Let us understand now this one by considering the nucleus of helium atom. So nucleus of helium atom consists of 2 protons and 2 neutrons, and therefore the mass number is 4, right? So this is a combined nucleus. Whatever the nucleons are there, 2 protons and 2 neutrons are there, they have combined nucleus is there, that I kept on a one pan of a balancing device. So here I'll keep nucleus of helium, that is which consists of 2 protons and 2 neutrons, which are combined nucleus. Now the same 2 protons and 2 neutrons independently I will take, separately I will take, not in combined manner. I'll take 2 neutrons separate, 2 protons separate, and I'll take those 2 protons and neutrons and place on another pan of a balancing device. So such that here 1 neutron, here 1 neutron, here 1 proton, here 1 proton, right? Now this must be, see, because it consists of 4 nucleons, here also 4 nucleons are there, but it should be matched, no? But it is not going to be matched or balanced. Why it is not going to be balanced? We'll see now. So here the independent mass particles, nucleons, will be greater than the combined nucleus of helium atom. In helium atom, 4 nucleons are there, 2 protons and 2 neutrons, and independently I have taken 2 neutrons and 2 protons, and it must be balanced, but it's not going to balance here. Here the mass of independent particles or independent nucleons will be greater than the combined nucleus of helium atom. That is why. And what is that defect? How much defect is there? We are going to find out this one, right? So let us find out mass of the constituent of nucleus. Mass of the constituent of nucleus. And here mass of the constituent of nucleus, how many protons are there? 2 protons are there, and mass of each proton is mp plus, and how many neutrons are there? 2 neutrons are there, and mass of each neutron is mass of neutron. So to avoid this confusion, I'll take here capital N. So this is mass of a constituent of nucleus of helium atom. Okay, this is the mass of neutron, right? Next, so 2 into mass of proton. You know what is the mass of proton? That is 1.00728 unit, correct? Plus 2 into mass of neutron is 1.00866 unit, correct? Now when you multiply these two values, you will get value of around 2.01456 plus 2.01732. This is the value which you are going to get. Now add these two. After adding, you will get 4.03188 unit is the mass of constituents of nucleus independently, not combined, independently. Now we know that rest mass of the helium atom is how much? Is 4.00153 unit, correct? Now you subtract both. When you subtract, what you will get? You will get mass defect. That is a difference in the mass of the nucleus of a constituent of nucleus and rest mass of the nucleus, right? So here you get it 0.03035 unit, which is the mass defect. Where it goes, actually during the combination of these two protons and these two neutrons, they annihilate themselves of certain amount of energy and it is converted into a bonding energy, right? Here these protons and neutrons are combined or have a bonding. During that bonding, they liberate certain amount of energy. They lost certain amount of energy. That energy is delta M. That is called mass defect, right? So these are unbonded nucleons. This is bonded nucleon. Nothing but during bonding, there is certain amount of energy loss takes place. How much amount of energy loss takes place? That is delta M. That is called mass defect, which is 0.03035 unit, right? If you add this mass effect here, delta M, at that time, this balancing device balances the things. This is neutron, this is proton. Now when you add delta M to this one, then it is going to be balanced. Then this is called mass defect, right? So how you define the mass defect? Here the mass defect can be given by the difference in the mass of constituents of nucleus minus mass of nucleus. That is, delta M can also be given by mass of the constituent of nucleus, means here Z be the number of protons into mass of proton, each proton, plus number of neutron means A minus Z into mass of neutron and minus mass of the nucleus. Therefore we can say that we can define the mass defect as difference in the mass of the constituents of nucleus and rest mass of the nucleus. So this is the definition of mass defect. I am going to write that mass defect definition. Wait. Then by that equation we can say that it is a difference in the mass of the constituent of nucleus and rest mass of the nucleus. Here by equation we can give mass defect is the difference in the mass of the constituents of nucleus and rest mass of the nucleus. That is delta M. Mass effect is represented by delta M. Mass of the constituent of nucleus is nothing but a Z MP plus A minus Z into Mn, where Z is the number of protons and MP is the mass of each proton. Next, A minus Z is the number of neutrons and Mn is the mass of each neutron, and here capital Mn is the rest mass of the nucleus. Yes, we will move to our next concept, that is binding energy. So what do you mean by binding energy here? the energy with which nucleons hold together, that is called binding energy. Or in other way we can say that if you want to break the nucleus into its constituents, we have to supply certain amount of energy. That energy is called binding energy. Here please try to understand, there is a one nucleus is there. In the nucleus what are present? Protons and neutrons combined together, right? To break them and independent separate we want to do that, then you have to supply certain amount of energy, then only they'll break. That is called binding energy. Or the nucleons with which they held together inside the nucleus, that energy is called binding energy. So in definition if you want to write, so it is the minimum energy required to break the nucleus into its constituents is defined as the binding energy. Or it is the energy with which nucleons are held together inside the nucleus, and that binding energy is given by delta E is equal to delta M C square, where delta M is mass defect. Where delta M is mass defect. See, by this one you can understand that whatever during the nucleus or nucleus of a helium atom is there, that after combining nucleons certain amount of energy have to be liberated, right? This during that binding, right? Binding or bonding, you can say that bonding. So to break that again its constituents, again you have to supply certain amount of energy, right? That is called binding energy here, right? Let us understand this binding energy through one example. Now we'll understand what is the binding energy of helium atom, right? Let us study binding energy of helium atom. That is, helium is 2He4, correct? So what is the binding energy of helium atom? We'll study now. So according to this equation, delta E is the binding energy, which is equal to delta M C square, where C is the speed of light. Delta M, just we know that. What is the delta M for helium atom? Mass defect for helium atom. Mass defect for helium atom is 0.03035 units into C square. C square just we have studied the 2.99797 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square, correct? So this is given in units, atomic mass units, but energy is in terms of kg now. I want in terms of kg now. Mass is in terms of kg you want. To convert that, 0.03035 units into, and one atomic mass unit, you know that how much? That is 1.66 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg per unit into here 2.99 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square, right? Or you can write this is 3 means 9, nearly 9 it will come. So here after this calculation I will get 5.04 into 10 to the power of minus 29, 5.04 into 10 to the power of minus 29 into, this one is taken approximately as 3 square is 9 into 10 to the power of 16, right? So after multiplication of these two, you get 4.53 into 10 to the power of minus 12 joules. This is the binding energy in terms of joules, but you want in terms of electron volt, right? So you want in terms of electron volt. So we have to analyze, that is delta E is equals to how much? That is 4.53 into 10 to the power of minus 12 divided by 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 electron volt, which would be equal to approximately 2.83 into 10 to the power of 7 electron volt. Now I want in million electron volt, therefore this point I will shift here, that is 28.3 into 10 to the power of 6 electron volt, or you can say 28.3 million electron volt is the binding energy of helium atom, right? From this one we can say that the binding energy of helium atom is 28.3 million electron volt. Nothing but during that combination of nucleus, 2 proton and 2 neutrons, whatever that has bounded, that means which has an energy of how much? That is 28.3 million electron volt. If you want to break that nucleus into its constituent, you have to supply total amount of energy, how much? 28.3 million electron volt. This is called binding energy. Next is binding energy per nucleon or specific binding energy. Specific binding energy means what here? First of all, the binding energy is nothing but this is the nucleus where of helium atom I am taking example. 2 protons are there, 2 neutrons are there. These 2 protons and 2 neutrons held together with certain amount of energy, that is called binding energy, and that binding energy is for helium atom is 28.3 million electron volt. This is the binding energy. Now binding energy per nucleon means you want to break this nucleus into its constituents. To remove one proton, to remove one neutron independently, how much amount of energy you are going to apply? That is called specific binding energy. Specifically, one nucleon, or that may be a proton or a neutron, which only one neutron, to remove one neutron, how much energy you require? That is called specific binding energy. Let us understand this by definition. That is, specific binding energy is given by, defined as the ratio of binding energy of that element to the mass number of that element, right? So it is defined as the ratio of binding energy, this is binding energy, to the mass number, is called specific binding energy, right? Specific binding energy. Let us understand by this one example. Specific binding energy of helium atom will consider. Specific binding energy of helium is given by binding energy of helium. First we have to write, and divided by its mass number of helium, correct? So here binding energy of helium, we know that is 28.3 million electron volt, and divided by what is the mass number of helium atom, that is 4. Then to remove one nucleon from the helium atom nucleus, we should apply 7.075 million electron volt. Then we can remove one nucleon from the helium nucleus. This is the called specific binding energy or binding energy per nucleon. Here per nucleon means to remove one nucleon, how much energy you have to supply, right? Yes, thank you.